Hello, everyone. This week for photography, what I wanted to talk about is something that doesn't get spoken of too much, and that's always learning. Now, I'm sure you've seen courses, YouTube videos, etc., on Photoshop techniques, doing things in Lightroom. Maybe you've seen things about different lighting techniques or different ways of shooting or videographing things. But what I want to talk about today is something that isn't talked about too much. Now, you may go out for your marketing and check your competition out, right? You want to see who's in your area, what they offer, what their prices are, that kind of thing. But have you ever thought about just going through photographers' Instagram posts, their websites, to see the types of photographs they're taking? Now, I'm suggesting this for two different reasons. The first thing is, when you go through and you look at those pictures, you may see something that you never thought of doing. We're used to doing things a particular way. This might give you a new way of looking at things. But you can also see what they're doing and come up with different ways of doing things. Just because everybody's doing it one way doesn't mean that that is necessarily the best way to do it. Think about the rule of thirds. While that's good to do in certain circumstances, there are reasons to break that rule. There are reasons to shoot things at an angle, for example, as opposed to being completely flat all the time. So think about what it is that you want to take, but take a look at the different things that are out there. I'll give you an example here. I had a friend who was pregnant, and she had run across, on Pinterest no less, a photograph where the pregnant woman was shot basically in silhouette. She was being held up by a gauzy material. Now, while the picture was interesting, it wasn't something I would feel comfortable doing just because the woman was suspended in air. And I was not that sanguine about having a pregnant woman any distance off the ground. And this was a very pregnant woman, so she was well along. Because that would mean that you have to rely on the material that you used, which has to be sheer enough to be able to see the entire body through it, yet strong enough to hold her off the ground. Not a fan. What I decided to do instead for that was change it up a little bit. I was looking at some way that she could be held in place, and I found a net chair. Right? It looked like a fisherman's net. I took that in extension to say, well, wait a minute. What if we put her in a mermaid outfit, at least from the waist down? Because this was going to be a nude shot if we were going to match what was in the Pinterest photograph. And she was going to be in silhouette. So I needed to have a backdrop that I could bounce a lot of light off so that she would be silhouetted, obviously. But by going through and using something that I knew would hold her up, because this chair was made for that purpose, to hold people above the ground. The frame was the same. It was another strong item. So I didn't have to worry about her safety. And at the same time, we could play upon the fact that this was now a rope chair and make her into a mermaid. By going through other photographs and the other ways that photographers are doing things, it shows you two things. One, it shows you how they're making money, right? This is the type of thing that they're providing. And two, it shows you how to look like everybody else. Because as you go through these photographer sites, you're going to see pictures that look an awful lot alike. And because there's so much alike, that gives you an idea of what the standard is. And by looking at that standard, you can then decide to break that standard and do something unique that's uniquely you, so that you stand out from the crowd. But at the same time, you've done a service to your client by giving them something that's unique and that not everybody else is going to have. Now, that doesn't mean you come up with one thing and you keep doing it over and over again, because then that becomes the same thing everybody else has got. But by going through and constantly learning about new photography techniques, so don't put aside that bit of education as well. Learning about new ways to do things, but also look at what it is that was done and see if there's something you could do a little bit differently. So when you're looking at a person and doing something to make them look their best, be it a particular angle, a particular side, if they have a good side, bad side thought, by going through and taking a good look at what else people are doing, can help you determine what your unique style is as well. Now, I know that a lot of photography classes will have people going out taking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures every single week, which back in the film days is pretty expensive, but pretty cheap for us with digital cameras, because we can just throw the pictures away if we don't like them. There's no development costs. There's no printing costs. So this allows you, by going out and seeing other people's work, to get a feel for what makes you unique and what you can do to set yourself apart from other photographers out there. This enables you to be the best photographer you can be for your client, to make them look special and to give them something unique that they can treasure for a lifetime. So never give up on learning. It's a lifelong process. I know a lot of people want to just get out of school and say the end of it, but learning is a lifelong process, and it will make you better as a photographer, and allow you to give your clients a better product. And that's what I got for you guys this week, and I will talk to you all next week.